Thank you very much for joining us. Herman Schoeman, the chairman of the South African Insurance Association Board, and Collin Molepe, president of the Insurance Institute of South Africa. Lovely to have the both of you with me this afternoon.
Thank you.
This is very exciting indeed. My first time at AIE. And just give me a sense of how it's going so far, especially in terms of this being a time of reflection for the insurance industry.
Yeah, it's been going very well. Maybe just to take one back, most of the colleagues actually came through on Sunday to start playing golf, because that's how you kick off a conference, right? You go on an 18-hole, you start walking and having a conversation just to catch up on how life has been, a bit about work, and then of course start to get into the zone of the conference. The first part of the morning was extremely interesting and great for us. We started with an amazing guest of ours, which was Dr. Schoeman, whom not just came as a guest of honor giving us the keynote address, but we were also recognizing him for the contribution and the work that he's done for the country and for South Africa, which is a tradition that we kicked off a year ago of really making sure that we look after those that have done well and actually just recognize them. So it's been a great morning so far.
Great. And Herman, of course, we're coming up to the 50th anniversary of the beginning of this conference next year. And just give me a sense of how far we've come in the last few months, especially post-COVID, post some of the economic difficulties that we are having, or some of the current economic difficulties we're having. How is the insurance industry faring, and how well are you assessing what the last year has been like for you?
Yeah, John, I think the what stands out is the absolute resilience, of the industry and so forth. You are quite right. I think as a non-life insurance industry, we come out of probably the worst, or let me say the toughest, the most challenging 3-4 years that I can certainly recall, in the industry. After COVID, we had the KZN floods, we had the unrest, a couple of very large events. And that has actually also led to an environment where reinsurance rates are starting to increase. The cost of insurance for us as insurance companies, that when we pass on some of the risk to our reinsurers, is also starting to increase. So it's a very volatile environment, I think, that we're currently operating in. And one of the best ways to share knowledge and information is a conference like this. Here, it's not only the insurers that are here, the supply chain on the left side and the right-hand side, vertical, horizontal, they are all represented here. And this is a forum. These days to get meetings and diaries is almost impossible, even though we have platforms and so forth. But to come here to a conference like this, and apart from the speakers and so forth, but just to see the players in the market and talk to one another and just to realize again that everyone has the same challenges and therefore we can solve, all together. It's amazing. So I can't wait to next year's conference, special celebrations, I think. But then I think, hopefully we can then talk solutions and not just how do we solve.
Yes. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of reflection over the last few years. There's a lot of reflection on the building that needs to be redone post-natural disasters, post-COVID, post-unrest. How is the insurance industry coping when you look around at the kind of the talks that you're having, the reflections on how you've done over the last couple of years?
Yeah, to Herman's point, firstly, it has been a challenging couple of years. But I look at it slightly differently as well and say these events have possibly become, or could have been, advertisements of what we actually do and the value that insurance brings. If you think about the impact of COVID, the impact of the riots, and the impact of the recent KZN events, all of them really hit the country and were making headline news. What has been silent out there is the value that the insurance industry played. Just to give you a sense, the riots cost the industry north of 35 billion. Now you just have to for a minute pause and say, if there was no resilient insurance sector, what would have happened to the economy? If you look at COVID again, same issue. Small businesses would have been adversely impacted. Some of them would probably have not made it back into operations. The same is true on the KZN events because this is just some unnatural events. but when they happen, they affect the society so badly, taking lives, valuable assets of individuals. So I think we have responded very well, and I think it may have elevated the value of having non-life insurance and life for that matter. But I think we need to take these and then think about how do we better position ourselves. I'm sure you've heard that people talk about insurance as a garage purchase. We've got to ask, why is it a garage purchase if you can actually extract a lot of value? But what it has also done, and this is part of the conference, we're starting to think beyond today and say, what are the new risks that we are going to be faced with in 5-10 years to come, and how do we better prepare for that? Because the reality is that only proper planning and forecasting of what may happen allows us to reinvent, be creative, be innovative about the solutions that we think our clients are looking for.
So that's quite interesting. What for you are the challenges that lie ahead in the future that you think the industry needs to prepare for, Herman?
Well, to me, the biggest one is, and we cannot have a conversation like this without reflecting on our customers, on our policyholders. They are the most important stakeholder, and let's not forget that. So I think the biggest challenge for me as part of the industry is to make sure that we can provide sustainable and affordable cover to our clients out there, and to actually grow our customer base. These events that we are talking about and so have just shown us again how big the protection gap. There's a lot of discussions about the protection gap, but how many people are uninsured? And obviously there's things like education and so forth, but there's a big component of that is unaffordable. Maybe even inappropriate products that we have. We don't have the right set of products for everyone that needs insurance and so forth. So that has made us certainly reflect on what we do and how we do it and so forth. And we just cannot keep on doing what we have been the last number of years. So we talk about the challenges, but my gosh, the opportunities.
Immense.
For us to really, it is just immense. And it's all to give a better service at a more affordable cost to our policyholders.
Thank you so much for speaking to us today. Herman, Schoeman, Collin, Molepe, lovely having you both.
Thank you so much.